Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared. My lovely wife, Carrot, is busy. And I hope now I get at least 9 likes since I broke out the Big Daddy for Ed Durbin in the comments. So we have a bunch of cool topics to talk about today, all knife related, and maybe possibly a couple stories towards the end. But I do know DTOM is live right now. Maybe I should set something up where I go on their lives every other week because they do a live every other Saturday. So, it's not like it's every single Saturday like mine. So I understand. I know a lot of people are going to be over there, possibly some people watching both. What's up, Mr. Matt? Breeze? Seems logical, monster. Let me pull this up really quick. But I don't know if you guys seen it. And I hate to give out his content because I want you guys to go and watch. But Outpost 76 just recently posted. He always does cut tests. That's what his channel is all about, is cut tests. And he did one on Hoag's 20 CV. All I'm going to say is that it pretty much did about as good as good 14, or not even good. I would say pretty much about the same, right around as 14C28N, which obviously 20 CV should do way, way better than 14C28N. But that's kind of a lot of what I'm talking about when I talk about some of these companies heat treating the M390 20CV 204P. It's that even if they have the recipe, right, to get a lot of blades in a heat treat to all do well, that steel, or a steel like M390 204P 20CV, it has a small margin of where if they're over or under in the heat treat, in the temperature and everything, it won't be as successful. And some steels do okay in, say, a big batch heat treat, where they're heat treating a lot of knives at once, like, say, 14C28N and a lot of other steels, not just them. But then you have some steels like D2 and M390 204P 20CV that just doesn't. They're made to be heat treated in small batches to get the best out of them. Now, if you're just talking about, it just being okay, well then yeah, whatever, right? But what are we paying for, right? If you're paying those premium prices for that steel, you're expecting to get, what it's advertised as. And I'll tell you what, man, it's depressing when you see something like that. And I know, don't get me wrong, I know Hogue with the same knives can do way better. What's up, Amy? Hey, sweetheart. um I know they can do much better. I know it. And I know there's a lot of them that do. But, if you have, say, I don't know, 3 out of 10 that don't, that winds up being a good chance that you could possibly get something bad. Now, when we're talking about, say, a company like Tucson, where you're not paying the premium price for that steel and you're getting them results, then it's like, okay, at least I'm getting S30V results. But sometimes with the M390 and 204P, you wind up getting it really bad where you're on the low end. What's up, Jared? But I thought it was fascinating watching that and seeing that, how poorly it did after watching what 14C28 ended. And now let me say this, that was average 14C28 on. Now, when you look at and if you look in his description, Outpost 76, shout out to him. Definitely check out his channel. If you look in his description, he has a spreadsheet down there. The spreadsheet shows a bunch of HRC testing that they've done on different knife brands and different steels. So you'll notice if you look at some of their 14C28N, which they haven't done a lot of with the HRC testing, at least not on his spreadsheet. Maybe there's a lot and I just didn't see it, but excuse me. It's usually about, like 55, 56 to like 59. So those knives that he tested the other week, I know were probably on the lower end. Most likely a lot of those companies, like the ones he tested, are. They just are. They're going to be on the lower end. Uh, but now when you start getting companies like, say, Civivi, it's a possibility. Those, I don't know, and I don't want to sit here and like just like make it sound so glorious, and then when the cut test comes out, they don't do as good as I believe they're going to do. But looking, if they're doing the HRC that they are stating that they're doing between 61 and 63, and that's a big if, then it's got very, very high potential of doing incredible cut test results. And when we have other steels like M390 and 20CV doing this bad of performance across the board in 2021, I mean, it begs to argue, why are we still fucking with it? And I'm not saying I don't like 20 CV, because I do. I like M390. I like 20 CV. I just don't like to spend a premium price for it unless if I'm going to get what I'm paying for. And I know it's a shot in the dark, right? Especially with a lot of companies. A lot of companies, you'll say, if you're going to pay, let's just, just talk shit and say, if you see a knife and it's $200 and it's S35VN, you're instantly going to say, I wish it was M390. Right? I wish it was M390. And me too. I do too. And mine, in my opinion, mine usually falls in the realm of that I can usually get a better edge on it, depending. But when we really look at the bigger picture, I mean, do we really, when S35 is a lot easier to heat treat for these companies. Now, I know a lot of companies are messing with this S45VN, and I'm really intrigued too about that steel. I would just hate for them to replace a lot of S35VN and charge more. I think if we're going to bring it in to, to everybody, to the market, then leave it the same price. Don't up the price on it. I mean, I know in the beginning they're probably going to do some stuff like that. Now, another topic that I just seen, and some of you guys might not care, but I'm really interested in it. Tucson just recently dropped, and thank you to the person that brought it to my attention on Instagram. Tucson just dropped the button lock. I'll get you guys the number, or I can do it right here. Where the hell so it's a button lock. Now, of course, it's expensive right now, right? It's just came out. You probably can't find one. It's probably going to be really expensive, but eventually it will go up, or go down. I mean, go down in price. You just got to give it time. That's the way Tucson's are. They, right at first are always a little crazy. So the number is, damn it, it doesn't show me right here. I'll try to show you guys a picture of it, but it's the TS313, so 313. View. Okay, so here it is. I'll try to show you a picture. Let me see if I can get it sideways. No, eBay won't let me go sideways. Here's a quick picture of it. It's got a dual grind. It looks like, oh yeah, and it looks like it has a hollow grind and a flat grind in the front. Now, that's what it appears to be. Here's the show side. I'm not a big fan of the speed holes, but it's interesting. It has some really cool thumb studs. It's a dual grind and a fucking titanium button lock. And right now, this one's saying 192. That's eBay, so it's gonna change. And that's the way it always is with the brand new ones. Sorry, guys. I know it's a little blurry. So the price will go down. You can expect in a couple months that knife with M390 and a button lock will probably go down to 120, 130 bucks max. Musa says, I like the speedies. I don't personally like them just because of aesthetics. I understand, it brings down the weight, which is a good thing. It makes it a little lighter. Some people don't like it because stuff gets in them, and then you have stuff getting in there specifically. Oh, fuck. specifically on your blade. Did we just... Oh, no. We still on here? Sorry, guys. Let me know if it starts glitching out. I've just seen it on my end. But stuff specifically gets on your blade, and it can dull your edge, etc. If you're not carrying other stuff in your pockets or working out in the dirt and stuff like that, you don't really have to worry about that. But no Canada? All right, awesome. We're doing good then. We're doing good. As long as we can keep Canada out of here, not Canadians. Let me just be clear. I hope Canadians are in here, just specifically Canada. Now, I want to talk about a couple clips, and we're going to talk about some finishes and stuff too. So, man, let me just say this. Two Sons, man, I've said it before, and sometimes I get another knife from another company, and they make me feel real good about them. I go through the honeymoon phase, and I know I'm in the honeymoon phase with this little guy, but I'm convinced, man, Two Sons are the best bang for your buck. You can't get a better knife than a Two Son for the money. For the money. You just can't. You can't. Name it. I would love to hear somebody name a knife that you could get dollar for dollar better than a Two Son. You can't. You can't fucking name it. And especially when you start getting into the fit, the finish, the lockup, the geometry, the choils, the bearings, the action. I mean, this thing smoothed out so much. And just as soon as I threw some KPL heavy on the detent ball, I mean, this thing is ridiculously smooth, but rock solid. I mean, in every direction, stupid smooth. The thumb stud action is amazing. Their detents are on point. They're well built. They have milling. Like they're usually pretty lightweight considering the geometry is amazing. So if you're looking for high-end materials, like, and you can't afford, say, a Reat or a Custom Knife Factory or even a Wii. Two Sons, baby. Two Sons. Now, as a user, and I'm specifically talking about somebody who's buying and purchasing a knife for work. They're buying a knife because I need a good, reliable knife. The best bang for my buck, I would say buy a Civivi. I would say buy a Civivi because in that sense, you're not looking for specifically the materials. Now, if you're looking for something a little harder use, then I would say, yeah, do a Two Son. And I say that because they're tight. You can get titanium, and titanium is going to be stronger than a liner lock. So, but with their sharpening choils, their geometry, their action, their fit and finish, Civivi does kill it for users. And I say that because you're going to be able to use it for a very long time and it not show. You're going to be able to sharpen it many, many times and it not show. The geometry won't change, just it'll last a long time as a user. And there's a difference there, which I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit too. But before that, I want to talk about the one thing I hate about this knife. And it's not as bad as I'm going to make it sound. So I'll continue to talk about it. But these titanium ball clips where they mill a ball underneath the clip, I hate that. I hate it. Now, there's one company that does do it good, and that is Olamic. Olamic actually does it good. But if you look at the way they do it, their ball is wide. It's not a single point. So when you have a ball clip, all the pressure, because they're usually a very strong clip that has pressure pushing straight down. So all that tension from the clip is pinpointed at one single point under the ball. One single point. Now, when you have all that pressure trying to get that over something, it's hard to do because all the pressure is focused on that one point. Now, when you make the ball longer, where the point of contact there's more points, like the point of contact is bigger, then it's smoother. So the Olamix ball clip actually works good, but it's not just like it's a wider ball. Now it does have one single point of contact, but it's just wider, it's bigger. So it winds up working out good, and the tension's not crazy strong. Like it's pretty springy. So that is one thing that they did do better on this one is the tension isn't crazy. It's actually a lot lighter, and it is the best Mazwan Mokhtar ball clip I've found yet. So I'll give them credit for that, and I'm thankful for that because I don't dread putting this one in my pocket. I've been carrying it since I opened it. However, I do just wish he would come up with another clip design. I think it looks cool. It sucks though, man. Next thing is that when you only have one screw holding it in and you're squeezing, that ball tends to move back and forth, especially if the clip isn't in set. Now, obviously, I'll go over all this stuff in the review, and I love the knife. I do. I really do. I mean, this is a really good knife. And the clip actually is pretty decent considering, because some of his other clips, the tension was so strong. I can't carry. I hate carrying them. I hate carrying them. Luckily, I carry that pouch now, the real leather, real man leather pouch, because I throw those type of clips in there because that doesn't, tear up my pants. But a good clip has the point, like even if I take out like this Kubi, right? This one is another one. Fucking sucks. The clip, horrible. All the pressure is pinpointed into one point. A good clip, the pressure from the clip is distributed in a larger area. That way it can go over. Kind of like if I pretend this is a clip, a spring clip, the point of contact is wide. It's the whole point right here. If you're looking at this, it's the entire point and the point from here to here. So going over stuff, it's like nothing. It just goes right over. It doesn't have all that pressure into one little point. And then when you try to put it in your pocket, your pants, it's like kind of like taking a blade over the seam of your pants every time you do it. Do that 30, 40, 50 times. Your pants are all messed up now, or your pockets are. Some clips are ridiculously tight for sure. Yeah, and then some of them are weak too. That's what the ones I used to hate. I used to hate weak clips because I always worried about jumping out of the back of a truck or jumping off of, like, I have to climb these things at work and I have to jump down. But I always thought about, like, it flying out of my pocket. But I don't really worry about that too much no more. I worry more about my pants getting messed up. Damn it, I meant to read that. I only own one Tucson, and it's a good-looking knife, the TS204. There's a link right there if you guys want to check it out. I think Tucsons do a great job. Musa says, wide balls, hey. So it's an oval clip. Yes. The Olamix are an oval clip. Yes. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I'm an idiot. Friendly reminder to like the video. It helps support the channel and gets the algorithm to show it for more people, help grow the channel. Yes, thank you. Yes, definitely. If you like the content, please drop a like or a dislike. But yeah, it does help us with the algorithm and helps more people to see our content. Moving on. Sorry, guys. Spidey clips are the best. Spidey clips are great. Now, there's a lot of clips very similar to the Spidey clips, like the Demco clips, just a lot of clips in general. The aftermarket clips are really good too. The ones like this. Now, this knife is reground. This Spyderco PM2. Let's measure what it is behind the edge. Why don't we? Because this thing is so thin. Sharpening it the same angle as what's on mine, the bevels are like, I mean, you almost can't even see it. It's such a tiny bevel. I'm gonna measure this thing really quick just to do it. Let's see what the thickness. Damn, this thing is stupid thin. I almost can't even measure it. What? That can't be right. Do this again. Damn, I'm looking at 8 thousandths behind the edge. Is that right? Yeah. 8 thousandths behind the edge, this damn thing is. Whoo! That is stupid thin. But K390, though, it can handle it. That makes sense. It makes sense because K390 is, man, it's an incredible steel. And it sharpens up so sharp. So damn sharp. I mean, this thing, I put a mirror polished edge on there at 3/2 micron, basically 5,000 grit, and it is sticky. It's sticky as hell. It's as if like I put a low grit on it. I always like before joining the chat, I do the same thing, Monster. Literally, when I turn on any knife video, I like it before I even start watching, regardless if I like what they say, because I'm not liking the video because I like the content, which I usually do like the content. But what I mean is I'm liking it because I want to get more knife channels out there to more people. That's one reason. And number two, I'm supporting their work in the knife community because I know what it takes to make a video. So regardless if I like the information or they could be, I've literally, I mean, this only happened one time, but I've even liked videos where somebody was talking crap about me. But yeah. I'm disliking big time because seems logical is too much of a like hound. I'll take that. I'll take them dislikes. Alec says, "Yeah, buddy." That so this is his knife, the regrind. BGM Knives is the one who reground the knife. So shout out to BGM Knives. If you guys need any knives reground, if you guys watched my unboxing with the hinders that got reground, very good job. Same thing with this one. But obviously they do good work. So if you guys need any knives reground, which isn't a bad idea for any knife that you love, but you're just like, man, I wish it cut better. Like, kind of like this knife, this Berg Blades. The Berg Blades, this thing is stupid thick. If this was mine, there's no way I wouldn't. I would keep it like this. There's no way I'd keep it like this. I would absolutely regrind it. And Stasa 23 is known for getting regrinds. So I have no doubt that he's not going to get this thing reground eventually. Maybe he's just trying to keep it stock so he could sell it. But it would improve it like so much, so much. Because that thing cuts like crap. I mean, of course it does. When you're talking about any knife, like you can get a knife with 150 thousand stock thickness, which is pretty thick already, but you can get it thin at the edge, so it at least has good geometry. There's a lot of knives that are either thick behind the edge or thick spined that cut very, very well. But when you have both, it doesn't work out. Yes, liking a video with someone talking shit is like smiling at someone who dislikes you. Makes my day. I got a second that shout out to Knife Modders. They are currently finishing up my Kaiser Shamshir, and it looks great on Instagram. Yes, Knife Modders does incredible work. If you need any knife modding done, definitely get. So you know what? We'll just pull out a knife. How about that? Let's pull out a knife. So Knife Modders did this one, the Alliance Designs Mini Slim Pickens, and they did looks like basically a full stone wash, and I'm pretty sure this is their edge on it, most likely, and very good edge. They do good edges. So after they're done doing the work, because if you get a stone washing or an etching done on the blade, you're gonna have to put a new edge on it. That's just the way life is. So it's nice when the modders also do a good sharpening job as well. And they do a good, it looks like a KME edge, and it's well done. What's up, Bees Blades? Have a custom knife factory. Sablaya coming in. Awesome. I don't know what that is, but that's awesome. Guys, I promise I will work. I've been so busy that I do know how, kind of, to pull pictures up and stuff. Remember, we practiced it when I first started using this app, but eventually I will get really good with it. I will practice it on a day off and I'll get good at it. I just don't want to mess it up right now. Like if I start trying to do it and then, like, because what can happen is I can show you guys personal stuff by accident if I don't do it correctly. So, but I'll figure it out. This knife is awesome. And I know I kind of spoke about this in my the video I posted today, but button locks don't have, not all of them, some of them do. So I don't want to say all, not all, but most do not have detents. What they have is a spring. So there's a spring right here. That spring pushes out on what is the lock bar, what's locking it up right now. So what happens is there's a groove cut out in the tang of the blade. That spring is pushing into that groove, pushing a piece of metal into that groove. And that groove is cut out where, with pressure added, it will push on the spring and compress the spring. So basically, the spring is adding tension to the tang of the blade, which acts as the detent, which makes you get resistance. But that's why you get that little sponginess right there. That's you compressing the spring. I wanted to say that because in a live a couple weeks, maybe, I don't know when, it was on Lefty EDC's, when he kept saying the detent, he kept saying like a detent lash, something like that. I said, no, it's on a spring. And he didn't understand what I was saying. And he said, a spring, it's a detent. And then I noticed in his unboxing, he was saying it. And I just wanted to make it clear that this is supposed to be like that. It's on a spring, not on a detent. It's just differences. There's all kinds of differences. Kind of like this, the shark lock. The shark lock doesn't have a detent either. That's why it does that. This locking mechanism acts as the detent. You have to overcome it to make it shoot out. But till then, see how it sucks it back in? Once you get past right there, now it pops out. Well, it does until it's so smooth that if I just leave it there, the weight of the blade will pull down. But you see how it stays there. But just different knives, different action, different ways of creating the resistance that you need to shoot it out. Now, this is on a detent. A detent ball, that goes into a hole. You guys know what a detent is. So, reviewing knives we don't like. So, I know a lot of I don't know about a lot, but some channels don't like to review knives that they don't like because they don't want to bash any companies or anything like that. And you do feel bad, if you feel bad bashing a company, especially if they sent it to you, it makes you feel bad because nobody wants to bash something that somebody worked hard on. You got a designer out there that fucking designed the thing and they're proud of it. They're damn proud of it. Then they have a company who makes it who should be proud of it. I don't know if they are, but they make it. And when you bash it, you're destroying their ego. And then the company, makes them look bad to the community. However, I do think it's a service for knife reviewers to review knives they do not. Let me be clear. It's not about knives you don't like. It's knife, because I can review a knife I don't like. And I can say, this is not a knife for me. And still, even though I don't like the knife, I can still review it in a way to say, this knife is well built. For the people that do like this knife, this is a great knife. If you like this knife, it's built well, has good action, has good this, blah, 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 blah. But then there's the things like, okay, this thing is dangerous, right? Or this thing has this issue, or this, and this issue, which that really makes the company look bad or can't. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean every single knife coming off the line is going to be like the one that you're, talking shit about. But I think as knife reviewers, we're doing a good service by reviewing knives, A, we do not like, and B, that are bad. What's up, Lacey Marie? Uh, Mostly folders, a bit of everything. I love the name. Says, I recall when Spyderco was talking about doing some kind of pro line. They were going to do those thin grinds. I was hoping after Benchmade started Select Edge would bring life back to that discussion. I don't remember ever hearing anything about that, but I think that would be a good idea. Uh, Click on this one. Positive, negative feedback. Reviews point out the problem so they can fix it. Absolutely. I think that that's the service that we're doing for the company or the maker, whatever, to call out the flaws. Now, some things are going to be opinion, which I think people know the difference, right? People know the difference in that. That's not where the issue comes in. I think the issue comes in when it's a knife you don't like. Like, say, I don't like it, period, right? Like, if it's a knife, I can look right now and say, yeah, I don't like that. Now, when I get it, I shit all over it. Now, there's a difference between saying that, though, and I think you just need to say that. I think you should still review, for me, okay, not other knife reviewers. For me, I think I should still review that. Couple reasons why. One, it gets more of a perspective on that knife. Two, just because I don't like it doesn't mean I can't review it for what it is. I can review it in a way, like I said, that says, yes, all these things are great on it. This and this isn't that great. It's just not a knife for me. But I should still review it because I'm not going to say adult enough, but I have the ability to still review a knife that I don't like in a positive way because I'm not putting my personal biases on that knife. Now there are going to be some knives where it's so hard to do that. But also, if the knife's built well, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. If it's built like shit, then yeah, it's gonna be a real big issue, right? It's you hate it, plus it's built like shit. Um, it's absolutely necessary to point out bad products. Hopefully, they be fixed or just not made. It's equally important to praise great products. Absolutely. 100%. There's a difference between giving a bad review and shitting on a knife. Yes. As long as you stay constructive. Absolutely. Yeah. As long as you stay constructive, it's helpful. Definitely. Um, but I think and I'm not like calling anybody out or anything, but a lot of knife reviewers don't like to review things they don't like. And I understand why they don't want to because they don't want to shit on. Let me raise this up a little bit. They don't want to shit on a company or a design that they already know they're not going to like. And you do feel bad, but like I said, it's pretty easy to just take your personal biases out of it and look at the knife for what it is or what it's for. That's another thing. Now, I think that can be the problem. Like, say, if I review a knife and I already know that is not a useful knife, like, and that's why I maybe don't like it. Like, there's certain knives out there I don't like because they're not fucking useful. And I know that. I know, like, they kind of work against being a good tool. So now when I review it, regardless of how well it's built, I'm going to call out the flaws in it being a good, useful tool. Now, I'll probably explain the things it is good for, which might be things that you'll never do with a knife, but maybe that's the person that wants to buy it for that specific situation that they run into never, I don't know. But, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's good for. I like personally. I'm not saying I like to shit on knives, and I'm not saying I like to to complain about knives, but I like reviewing knives that are A, bad, or B, I don't like. I like to. One, I like to do it because it opens up the horizon for me and sometimes surprises me, and I wind up liking something more than like even this. A year or two ago, I never would have bought this knife because of this blade shape. I'm loving this knife, and I've already used it, and boy, does it cut. Holy shit, this thing cuts good. It is a laser beam, but I love it. And, I wouldn't have bought it before, but, I did. Now, reviewing something that I just don't like, I really don't like, or that's bad, I think it's good for the community to call it out. And, like, so and so said that it helps the companies make their knives better. Chris Wolf says, indeed, critiquing is good through negative and positive. That's what makes improvements towards perfection right. And, like, let's go back to Mazwan Mokhtar. I love his designs. He's one of my favorite Tucson designers. Him and Jelly Jerry. And well, I also like Night Morning designs too. I like a lot of their designs, but Mazwan Mokhtar is one of my favorites. He's definitely the top three, if not number one. He might be number one because out of those three, I love all three of them. Now, his clips, I fucking hate. I hate them. I hate them. This one's okay because the tension's not big. Now, maybe somebody else buys this exact same one and the tension's really strong. If that's the case, just stretch it a little bit. It'll be all right. And don't break it, but you can, loosen it up a little bit. Now, this one, I have no problem carrying this one, but for the most part, most of his clips on his other knives, I'm not a fan of. Hey, Mitch, thank you, bud. The review you did on the fixed blade Elementum, I don't think I did that, was perfect for showing a company what they need to do better. You never crapped on the knife or Civivi. Hold on a second. I didn't do the Civivi. Wait, the review I didn't do the review. I'm sorry, bud. I didn't do the review of the Elementum. I might have talked about it because I did the best tech. The best tech fixed blade is the one I did, and the button lock. I've done all the Civivi Elementums, but the fixed blade. I'm trying to get one in, but yeah, I I try to do that. Like if I'm going to call out things, like with that knife, okay, the fixed blade, specifically the fixed blade. I think their choice of choosing D2 was a bad choice. I really do. Is it still a great knife? Absolutely. It's a great knife. I mean, from my perspective of looking at it, I can look at that knife and tell that's a damn good knife. One, it's very similar. Obviously, it's an Elementum. The shape and profile and geometry and everything it's going to have is going to be amazing. D2, though, I think was a bad choice considering that they're using their 14C28N. Why would you use a steel that is not stainless when you have stainless steel readily available that you're doing such a good job with? I think from a sales perspective, like they would have sold way more at 14C28N, in my opinion. With D2, I think they're not gonna do as well. Are they still gonna do great? Yeah, probably. They got a good sheath. It comes with like a tech lock, for your belt. Looks awesome. Badass. It reminds me of a Bob Terzola knife. That's what it reminds me of. Yeah, the best tech one. Same thing with that one. That's a damn good knife. Great knife. They use D2, which for that price, that wasn't a good choice. I don't think that thing's worth the money that they're asking. Is it a good knife? Absolutely. It's a great knife. And if you look at it and say, I need that, like that is the knife that I need, like to use for whatever situation, yeah, get it. But for a big, like for everybody, I think it would have been a better choice to pick a different steel for that money because I think they're like $100, even more for the micarta. I don't think it's worth that much when they're doing folders for less. Yeah, if you live near the ocean, D2 can be a problem. And and I'm not even necessarily like, yes, I keep saying stainless. So I think the stainless is one part about it. Man, my face is like really bright today on this thing. Um, the stainless is one thing which can be a problem for a lot of people, but more of an issue, I think, is the heat treat. A lot of these companies are doing an okay job with D2. But in reality, if if people could feel the difference and see the difference. If Outpost 76 did D2 with a custom heat treat tomorrow versus a production D2, you would see the difference in the results of how many more feet that D2 is supposed to get versus what you're getting. Now, when you look at that and you say, "Oh wow, that's what I'm supposed to be getting from D2 is awesome," but it's not because it's not made to be heat treated from a large production scale. Now, when you do get that, this is the problem. The problem isn't that you're going to get less cuts or that you're going to get less edge retention. It's that they're all going to be inconsistent. One will be good, one will be bad, one will be okay, one will be decent, one will be horrible. Like you're gonna have that. You're gonna. I don't think there's any way really around it without heat treating them in small batches, which they can't do. They wouldn't be able to make money on the knives if they did that. D2 isn't really that bad. I've had stainless, wait, I've had sometimes stainless that seem to rust over D2. It's all about how you take care of it. That's why I'm not necessarily talking about just like the rust thing. I've had D2 rust on me a couple times, but I just take care of it. I have no problem taking care of it. I can take care of K390 just fine. I can take care of M4 just fine. It's how you take care of it. Yes, stainless steels, you're not going to have to worry about as much, obviously. So if you're in a position to where you're worried about it, then definitely get a stainless. If you're in a position where you're not really worried about it because you're good at taking care of it and you're not around corrosive things, then get a stainless. But I don't think, like I said, D2 is okay. I have no problem with D2. I like D2 for a little price. Like it's a good steal for a little price. When you were asking $100 for it on a fixed blade, I don't think it's worth that. I really don't. Not when I know how, like I said, you have a good chance of having a shitty heat treat. You do. You have a good chance of it not being good. And you have a good chance of it just being normal. Now, a lot of their D2, I will say, has improved a little bit versus how it was like 3 years ago when Super Steel Steve and all them started doing the cut tests. It was really bad. It has improved a little bit since then. But look at how much the prices went down. Don't you think that's a reason? Or there's a reason? There's a reason because, and this is just my guess. I don't know if this is true or not, but look at how cheap some of these companies are able to give it to you for. It's because they're selling it so cheap. And I have heard of some companies say that they can get it like so cheap. Like they have inventory of it, like tons of it, because they bought a lot of it because they can get it for ship price because all these companies probably realize that that it's not doing like what we thought. We thought it was going to be better than what it is, but it's just not that because you know it's made to be heat treated in small batches. D2 is U.S. steel manufacturer in World War II. First since then was only upgraded from us and other countries. And like I said, I don't dislike D2. I like D2 just for a certain price. Uh unlike say some like Medford's. Medford's is CPM D2, which is a powdered D2. It's not regular D2. So anybody who says this, I hate when I hear this. When they're like, "Oh, I'll never buy a knife that costs that much for D2." Well, don't fucking get the D2 then. They have other steels. They don't just use D2. They give you the option if you want. You can get S90V, S35VN, you can get whatever. But This is the thing, is that with their D2, you're getting CPM D2, which is a powder D2. It's not regular D2, but it's also heat treated in a small batch. It's heat treated probably one at a time. I think it is one at a time. So you're going to get what you're supposed to get out of D2. It's not the same. Any cut test you've ever seen with D2, it is not the same. Nowhere near. You're going to get better results from them. And you know, that's even saying that they don't even, I don't know what the I forget what the HRC is supposed to be on D2, but anyways, I can be elected farmer of likes for a day. Nothing like the laptop next to the stove and trying not to burn the grilled cheese. That's dedication. Let me click this off. But yeah, I appreciate everybody who's dropping them likes for me. Did you guys see what we did? You guys probably don't even fucking know. You guys probably don't even know. We hit 8,000. We hit 8,000 subs, and I'm super excited. Somebody brought to the attention, or brought to my attention in the comments. We had just crossed, and I had watched it teeter like yesterday, and yeah, it's awesome. I'm very, very happy about it. I'm very excited about it. I think it's amazing. I thought about doing a giveaway, a live giveaway, because I'm so excited, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll do a giveaway towards the end. Maybe. I just hate doing live giveaways, man, because you guys always fuck with me. Like, no, I said that. No, I said that. Well, 8,000. And you were like, I know. Last year in February, we were at 1,000. If it moves this fast, or as fast as it did since February to now, we should be at about 13K next year, or this time 14,000 this time next year. I'm hoping. I'm thinking about like pushing for like 15 just because I'm a cocky bastard, but I really hope so. I really hope so. And I do try to help other channels out as much as possible. And I try to share like things that anything that I buy or people donate, I try to share with other channels, because channels did that for me. Channels helped me out so much through the time of me having this channel, that, and it's not even that that's why I do it. I do it because I support the community, and I think that that's the least thing I can do from somebody's donation, is to help the community with it, and not just say it's mine, No, you can't touch it. But I also do it with the things I buy. So, and sometimes I actually look at things and I buy it thinking that, like, man, that'll be a good review. I bet you other people, would like to review that too. I actually, even a long time ago, some of the hefty purchases I made, which weren't that hefty compared to other people, but I would think about that. Like, I would base my purchase on whether or not somebody would want to review it, like based on whether or not I could loan it to somebody and that they would want to or not. Which I think, it's honorable, I guess. Maybe not. So we were talking about knife modders earlier. Shout out to Lindy Lou and Richie B. I never win things which are games of chance. I prefer games of skill. I know you do, Fiend. The problem is that nobody else would get a chance if we fucking did that. That's the problem, man. That's the problem. Everybody else would just fucking give up. Where is a Rocky bastard? Ooh. I seen Dirk Wierning had a rock set he just reviewed with a DLC polished coating, Which, man, it's crazy how Rockstead gets these mirror polishes with the DLC on it. That's badass. Like, that is a beautiful, beautiful finish. That mirror polished DLC. It's just beautiful. Lavender Pants. Hey, I meant to message you. Thank you, man. I seen what you did. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. You know what I'm talking about. Lavender Pants he's awesome, man. One of the best dudes in this community, for sure. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. And you know what I'm talking about. Lavender Pants slipped into my PayPal account. Jared, maybe you're not asking the correct trivia question. I know how to stump Q and Fiend. I could probably come up with something that but the problem is I feel like nobody would fucking know it. You know what I mean? Like, everybody would be stumped. It'd be what it would wind up being is who can Google the fastest, and we already know you know, if it's probably I don't know. I'm just guessing he's a fast typer at this point. Um, but we were talking about knife modding, and you know, with finishes, like I just wish, like, because I hear people say this sometimes, like, yeah, I think the knife looks good, but man, I don't like that finish or that coating, or I don't like it in black or whatever. And obviously, there's going to be some knives you're just like, I'm not putting more money into the fucking thing. The thing costs this much already, right? I understand that. But sometimes when you see certain knives, some things are very easily done at home, or you can send it to like knife modders or something. But like this, I'm probably going to either put a new satin finish on this, which would be very, very easy, easy peasy pie, or I might acid etch it and stone wash it, which is, again, very, very easy. Now, some people don't want to go through the trouble because they feel like they're going to mess it up. But if you do the correct steps, and you can also practice, you can watch, there's plenty of videos on it, or you can just send it to like knife modders or something. But certain finishes are just extremely easy. You almost don't even need to take the knife apart, depending on the knife, depending on how it is. But yeah, I'm just saying that there's lots of things you can do that are relatively cheap too. Some things I think people think cost more than they do. Modding a knife isn't too expensive. Even some regrinds, right? Doing a complete regrind, there's guys out there that do it for $60. Hollow grinds are going to usually be more money, but between like 60 and $85. That's for a full regrind. That's not a finish. Like, um, just doing a stone wash isn't very much money. Doing a new satin finish isn't much money. I don't know the exact price. I've never charged anybody. Maybe I have, but I don't know what Knife Modders charges or not. But like, if it was me, I mean, or I guarantee you're going to be surprised of how relatively budget friendly it is to modify your knife. But if anybody's ever interested in knife sharpening, I do that though. And speaking of knife sharpening, I was going to talk about it really quick. I'm going to do it in my video, my review. Have more because I actually videotaped some of it. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it because I do got it in the video coming. Okay, I'll just talk about it for a second. So I have this Koenig mini Goblin. Now I had an issue. Not a big issue, but hey, Mitch, what's up, bud? Thank you, man. Got any more upcoming Laren Thomas story? Wait, Laren Thomas story times with Neeves Knives as pop up. More upcoming Laren Thomas story times. Well, we'll have probably a story time at the end of this video, more than likely. More than likely. I tried to tell a story with just about every video. How many people we got in here? Wow, 75 people. So this knife came to me for review and a new edge. Now, when I got it, I noticed that, let me get something flat, that the edge wasn't completely flat. When you lay it on a flat surface, let me do it this way so you can really see it. When you lay it on a flat surface, there's a gap. Like right there by the tip, there's a gap. So it's not perfectly straight. So I didn't know if was it supposed to be like that, or was the previous sharpening maybe a mess. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes people sharpen a knife that's perfectly straight, and when they sharpen it, they make a mistake or the angle's off where they do the tip a little bit extra and it winds up making a little bit of a belly. So I started digging deep. Like, is this thing supposed to be perfectly straight or not? Because I wanted to bring it back to its original um, shape. So I started watching videos, started looking at pictures, and every single one of them, like I seen some that looked perfectly straight, and then I seen some that could actually have that the same thing, but it was so hard to tell. So I got a hold of Lefty EDC. Actually, I got a hold of Beard Gear, asked him if he could check his. He said he loaned it out to Lefty EDC. I got a hold of Lefty EDC. I had to ruin his show and all kinds of shit. Finally, I got him to lay it down on a flat surface for me and tell me whether or not it was perfectly straight or not. And well, no, this was sharpened, so it would have just been a mistake, but it wasn't. There wasn't an issue. It actually was shaped like that. It's not perfectly straight. So the way this edge goes, it looks perfectly straight, but it's not. Hey, kind of looks between a leak and a fastball blade shape. Yeah, pretty much. Thanks for the donation. Yeah, it does. It definitely does. And I love that blade shape. The leak, mostly because the leak, man, I think that's one of the best uh, beginner knives, or even just a plain old EDC knife. I mean, I did so much shit to mine. I used to cut drywall with mine. I always say that because I did. So anyways, this is not straight. So what it does is it's almost perfectly straight. The one that Lefty had actually had a little spot right here that wasn't flat, but this to here is perfectly flat. From here to here. But then from here to the tip, it barely starts going up. Just barely. You know what? Just like the leak. The leak does the same thing. The Kershaw leak does the exact same thing. So after figuring that out, I knew exactly how to sharpen it and what to do. And I haven't finished it yet. I just did I set my bevel because I had to remove not like a ton of steel. I didn't have to remove enough steel to where I wanted putting it on the belt or anything, but I had to remove enough steel that I'm doing it in 2 sessions. Crap! I need to send my knives out to Richie. I'm sending him my Bowie and something else and my new Oz whenever it arrives. You got another Oz coming? Pretty sure Daniel had it in his story on Instagram today. Man, that's awesome. You got another Oz coming? You lucky bastard. Or wait, are you talking about the one you already had loaned out or something? Um or something? Because I know you had that one Oz. Damn good knife. That is definitely one that I haven't tried yet, but I can tell that thing's awesome. Oz number 2, you lucky bastard. That's awesome, man. Good for you. Good for you, Pants. You deserve it. That's badass. I know a lot of people in the community are trying to get their hands on one, but you got two. uh, nope. I got on the list again. I'm sending you my green one to check out. That's awesome, man. I can't wait because that's one I've been very excited to check out. That is one that I can tell I'm gonna like it. There's just those certain knives out there that you just know. You know that it's gonna be badass, and that is definitely one of them. Now, there's some knives that I think I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's better like that when you think you're gonna not like a knife and then you get it and you fucking love it, or if you know you're gonna love a knife and it gets there and you still love it. Like, Zach, thanks, bud. Thank you, man. Keep it up. That looked like me about a couple hours ago. I was fucking pumping some weights. I actually bought a pulley thing. Took forever to get here though. A pulley system so I can work out at home with like a police, anyways, doesn't matter. You guys don't give a shit about me working out. Um, oh, I think I already talked about that kind of. So I kind of want to talk about no shit's given. All right, Jason, thank you for coming, man. I appreciate you stopping in. Gotta take care of the family, definitely. So, wow, man, did I say something bad? We lost like 15 people in 2 seconds. Holy shit. So I wanted to talk about work knives versus EDC knives because I think there's a big difference. And when we're looking for knives, we overwhelmingly say EDC, everyday carry knife. But I think a work knife should be considered a different category. Um, like I guess what I'm trying to say is that an EDC knife, an everyday carry knife, you don't have to be as critical on certain things like geometry, maybe the blade shape, um certain things. You don't have to be critical. You really don't, because it's gonna cut. Jelly Jerry's in here. What is up? Jelly Jerry's in the house. We were talking about you earlier, bud. You must have heard me. Your ear must have been ringing. um Shout out to Jelly Jerry. He's got some knife designs out there. I actually got one of them right here. I got a few of his designs. I'm actually trying to buy a design that I lost, that I had of yours, the Tucson 223. I'm fucking trying to find another one, man. So if any of you guys see one of those out there, just know I want to buy one. I'm also looking for a 177. But I got this one from CMB Knives, and is that right? Yeah, CMB Knives. Shout out to CMB Knives and Jelly Jerry. LTK just did a takedown of this knife and a review if you guys are interested. So, but work knives versus EDC knives. So, like I said, you don't have to be as critical, right? You can, like whether it's the blade shape, the grind, you can carry, like say if it's overly big or a little girthy or something like that. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just for EDC, I guess, unless you like to carry lighter weight stuff. But with a work knife, it's going to be specific. And in my opinion, a work knife should, in my opinion, have certain features, and I think they all should. Now, I think there should be a couple different categories, obviously, between hard use and just regular use, but they should definitely have good geometry, right? And if it's more of a harder use, then yeah, it should have tough geometry, but still good geometry. It's still a knife. Just because it's a hard use knife doesn't suddenly make it a hammer or a pry bar. It's still a knife. But good geometry. It should have a good sharpening choil, because a work knife, you're gonna chip the edge. You're gonna do shit. You're gonna have to sharpen it. You're just gonna. Um, a finish. The finishing, like the finish on the blade or on the handle or whatever, should be made for use. It should be made for scratching and stuff like that, so that it hides it, or whatever. Um, the clip should work really good. There's just certain features I think that a work knife should have, and an EDC knife. You know, I've heard people say in the community that like the blade shape doesn't matter. It's just the grind that matters. And to me, that's bullshit. I personally think it's bullshit. Now, if we're talking about just for EDC, yeah, you're probably right, because what do you're going to open up a package here and there, cut some tape here and there. But when you're using it as a work knife, like me personally, um, when I use my knife at work, which is all day, all the time, um, I'm doing specific things that certain blade shapes would not do well, and I just won't bring them. I will never bring that blade shape to work. I just won't. Now, I do think there are certain blade shapes that do help certain workers, like say construction workers, that I don't think I mean, I guess they do good anywhere, or even just for basic EDC, but they'll benefit certain workers even more so. My reground hinder is my favorite thing as a work knife. I could see that. I can see that, especially with a regrind, because at that point you got better cutting geometry now than originally. Now, hinders are a hard use knife, right? Uh, but since they're a hard use knife, they made them a little thicker geometry. Now, if you do have thicker geometry, you can always, at the very least, give yourself a little better cutting performance by giving yourself good edge geometry. Good edge geometry, laying back your edge. Now, depending on what you're doing with your knife, you know, if you're looking for cutting performance, meaning how well it slices through something, then you're going to want to lay the edge back. If you're looking for something tougher, where it's going to handle a little bit more abuse, you might want a convex edge, or maybe a lower angle, something like that. But you can always improve it a little bit. But if you really want to improve it and you still want it to be that specific knife, you can get a regrind. A regrind, hell, that make cut real damn good. Personally, my EDCs are generally fine for work. I don't carry the more expensive ones to work for obvious reasons, but they'd all work just fine. Well, that's my point then, right there. If you're not willing to carry the expensive knife to work, think about that. Then that's not, then that's not a good work knife for you, right? And I think that's I don't know, maybe there's going to be people out there, right? There's always going to be the people, like the guy that would fucking carry a rock stud to work, right? And chuck it across the concrete. There's going to be that guy. But let's talk about the masses. The masses is going to grab a Civivi to cut up 150 feet of cardboard and some very durable straps before they grab their $1,000 Koenig areas or whatever, right? They're just gonna, like, it's not saying they don't use their Koenig areas. Of course they use their Koenig areas, of course, but that's not a work knife. That's an EDC knife. That's an everyday carry knife. That's a knife that you're proud of. Something that if you dropped off of a ladder, you'd shit your pants. All right. So that can't go in the work knife category. The work knife category is the knife that you don't mind, dropping. You might mind dropping it, but you know what I mean. You're not gonna lose any tears off. That's what it's for. It's made to be tough. It's made to be a user. It's made to be sharpened. It's made to cut good and work good and give you the good amount of leverage behind your cuts, and it's gonna work the best. Now, with something maybe a little bit more expensive that maybe is a little bit more prettier, maybe it doesn't do all those things as good, or maybe it does. It just depends. But just the price alone can take it out of that category. Now, obviously, like I said, there's going to be those guys, and and don't get me wrong, there's expensive, there's those work knives that are in that category that are expensive. Sabenzas to me are a damn good work knife. That is a tool and the reason why I say that has nothing to do with the price. It has to do with the way it's built, the geometry. It has everything I just said that a work knife should have. This Sabenza has. The only thing it doesn't have on its side is the action. Hinders are more of a tougher or a harder use tool. CRK and Kosi is my daily work banger right there. See, Ryan? Yeah, I was just saying that exactly. And they're so good. They're so good for work. I mean, that is a damn good work knife. Anybody who's ever worked with like many knives and like understands like the sharpening, the performance, the cutting performance, the ergos, all that stuff, and also the fit and finish and tolerances. it's hard not to like a Spenza, unless if you just don't like it because of the action thing. And then in that case, I understand, you know. Hopefully someday we can see Breeze's knives on the channel to see what hard use looks like. Trust me when I say this, Fiend, you guys would fucking cry to look at what he does to his knives. Oh my god. One of these days. I've showed one time. As a general rule, I don't carry knives to work over $100 unless I'm feeling fancy. But people often borrow them, so I wouldn't want to hand them a hinder. Now, I carry it. Okay, so I carry usually two knives. Now, I kind of have an idea sometimes. Now, some days I don't know. When I go to work, I don't know, so I always automatically carry specific knives. But then as I do go through my week, I already know now what I'm doing tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to use my knife, but I already know what I'm going to use my knife on. So in those cases, I can bring something nicer. Something maybe to show off to my buddies. I'm only going to be cutting a little bit of plastic. If I cut any cardboard, it's not going to be, much, it's going to be something easy. And in that case, I can bring something nicer. So there's days where I'm okay with carrying something nicer, but what I always do, just in case, is I carry a real work knife with me as well, or something that I'm not going to care so much about. And it's not that I don't care about them. It's that if I wind up having to cut stuff that I wouldn't want to put a $500 knife through, or somebody else's knife, or even my own, then I'll use that knife. And sometimes those are the knives I love the most. And I mean that in a way that it's like, you have the love for that special EDC knife, the one you save up for or gift it to you or whatever, that's expensive, and you just love it. You even love it more than the other knife. But then there's also something too, that knife that when you look at your table of knives and you're thinking in your head like, um, I don't know what I'm going to run into today. And that knife just shines, because you already know that knife can handle it. That knife's good for this. That knife, I don't mind using that knife on anything. And it works so good that every single time when I run into this decision, that's the one that's shining on the table saying, pick me, you know? And I think like for a lot of people, that's been like the PM2s and the Para 3s, the knives that generally aren't crazy expensive, but they're damn good work knives. So people don't mind grabbing those and using them on whatever. They don't care about scratching them. They have G10, like think about it. I don't know, maybe there's people out there that really worry about scratching their Para 2, but I don't know too many people that worry about, saying I can't use my PM2, but I have a lot of knives like that, man, I don't care what I do with it, but I like them for that reason. I love them because I can use them. And I mean, I can use them however I want, and they'll take it and they'll love it and they work great. Now, there's knives you wish were like that, but then when you use them, they suck. You know, we have thick cardboard. We have different kinds of cardboard, but that cardboard I cut up the other day, holy shit. Where I came from, folks doesn't even want. What? Where I came from, folks doesn't even want. Huh. I have to like them, but one has better action, so I go with the better action for fidgeting. So that is something that I consider. One, I like to fidget, but two, I like, especially at work when I'm doing something repeated. I want something that I can get open. I know I've said this 1,000 times and I've argued with people about it, and I don't care what they think because this is my personal opinion and biasy where this is what I prefer. I like something that I can easily get in and out of the pocket without destroying my pocket by the end of the day, meaning the clip works good and I can get open, make my cut, and get back closed fast. Whether I can use this hand still, because say if I'm holding something, right? I cut it, Now I still have to hold this, but now I need this hand. Now I can use this hand. Where am I at? I can use this hand, and then move something, then bang, pop it back out, make a cut, fold it back up. I can do that easily. I like that. I like being able to use a knife like that. And then if I need to put it back in my pocket, I can without using two hands. Oh, June bugs just flew by. Fuck my life. Hard to beat a Chris Reeve knife as a work knife. Yes, the only problem is the action part. I'd love to try one with a hole in it. I'm gonna hopefully do it tomorrow. The new thumb studs. I haven't had time yet, but I do got the vise and everything to do it. But yeah, I agree. As a tool, it is one of the best. From the clip geometry, um, uh, plunge grind, the choil, the ergos, everything, the shape, all that shit. It's got to be a backlock or they won't know what to do with it. It's Canada in here, guys. And Canada's in here. Motherfucker. Let's see. One day I will have a Chris Reeves. You should. I don't know how you have all these hinders with no Chris Reeve. But I think choosing the hinder or before the Chris Reeve, I don't think that's a bad choice, just like vice versa. I think they're both great knives. I think sometimes Sabenzas, this is the thing with Sabenzas. I think that if you look at a knife as a tool, then you're going to love a Sabenza. If you look at knives as jewelry and looking cool and being cool and fidgeters, then you're probably not going to like a Sabenza. Anybody who looks at a knife like that, you might as well stay away from a Sabenza. A Sabenza, damn it. All right, I think Canada left. But anybody who likes them as a fidget toy or likes them for looks and action and stuff like that, it's not a knife for you. If you like a knife as a tool, specifically a fucking tool, then you will love a Sabenza. I bought that special edition honey badger like an idiot. I should have read more. It's basically the same thing with a stonewash, black hardware and liners, and a case. Still just FRN D2. No shit. Yeah, that's my biggest downfall, in my opinion, of that knife is that FRN. What? Why? Why not G10? Why not? I understand they can mold FRN or whatever, right? And I think G10 has to be milled. But damn it, man. Get rid of FRN. FRN belongs on MTEX and Walmart knives, not to the knife. If you're trying to make a knife for the community, and I say the same thing about Civivi's Badlands, I think that's the one it is. Am I right about that? I think that's the one that's FRN. Why? Why? You're Civivi for crying out loud. Do you not have enough G10? All right. I don't know what's going on, guys. This internet keeps going out. But yeah, I don't know why Civivi would even be in possession of FRN. They should be fined. I have a honey badger, bought it when they were new. Hotness won't take an edge. Now I won't get another. Is it D2? Is it D2? Jared had a bad review on Untitled. I didn't have a bad review on the Untitled, did I? No. Me? No. I like the Untitled. I said the Untitled was good. It's a good knife. It's a great knife. I personally like the Sabenza a little bit more, but um yeah. I do think the Untitled is a little bit harder use of a knife, a little bit. Yeah, I immediately thought it was G10 considering its price. Didn't even consider it would be FRN, but it is. That's crazy, man. And I don't, I always said this too, that that knife in G10 would just be way improved. Now think about if they dropped a titanium version with the same pattern. I'm saying looking like everything the same. That would be sweet. That would be a knife I could back because it has amazing action. It's a great knife. But damn that FRN. It feels so cheap to me. That's the problem is I get it in hand and I'm like, damn it, this is cheap. I don't like, especially in my position of being a knife user, a knife lover, a knife person. I don't want cheap at this point. Years ago, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but at this point in my journey, I don't want cheap. All right. I don't want to feel cheap and I don't want the knife. And I'm talking about the knife itself. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to feel cheap. I want it to feel tough. I want it to feel capable. I don't want it to feel like it's worth less than I paid. I want it to feel like it's worth more than I paid. And I don't think that's hard to do. Not when you have the two sons out here. Like, think about this. What did I pay for this? I don't remember, but it wasn't much. I don't remember. I think it was like $100, maybe less. But damn it, come on, carbon fiber. My card that's actually pretty decent. My Carta, titanium frame lock, good geometry, great sharpening choil, great ergos, great action. It has everything you'd want in a high end knife for less. I mean, to me, what the fuck? I mean, that's good value there. Really good value. No, it was like 80. There we go. There we go. See? My big problem with G10 is that it's too slick. It might as well be carbon fiber and look better. I either like all tie carbon fiber or super aggressive FRN. So I don't like FRN at all. I think the only option where FRN was done well was like the rat one. It feels like G10. But to me, man, I love titanium, micarta, and carbon fiber. Carbon fiber, I am getting a little old with it. What I want now out of my carbon fiber is the unique stuff. Um, Not saying I don't like carbon fiber because I love carbon fiber, but I like the crosscut stuff. Ooh, yeah. Crosscut sections, not just the regular carbon fiber. I really want to try that the fat carbon, man. That shit looks fire. Okay, so I paid around $80 for it then. So around $80. Are you kidding me? What are we talking about? This thing has, I mean, it feels like a high-end knife. I guarantee if I handed this to somebody and then handed somebody a knife that was more expensive, they would think this was the more expensive knife. Even if they knew knives. Like even I'm not saying to a dummy, I'm saying to somebody who understands knives. And no billboarding. The only billboarding on this entire thing is 14C 28N. Jelly Jerry's sign's not on there, Two Sons not on there, nothing's on there. Which I'm not saying that I don't like. I don't mind logos, but damn it. Do I keep breaking up, guys? Because on my other screen, man, it keeps going scrambly. Yeah, Marvel carbon fibers are pretty good too, but I've seen a lot of it. So I just want I love crosscut. You guys know the Oz knives, the ones that me and Pants are talking about a little bit ago. Have you guys ever seen their cross cut or side cut carbon fiber? That stuff is beautiful. Beautiful. You can see the fibers running in it like snakes or whatever. I mean, it looks so good. I love that stuff. I also love my Carta that way too. I don't know why companies aren't doing that more, because in my opinion, I think it's a good sales pitch. It can't cost that much more, because when they make a block of it, it's just cut. It's like if you have a cube of it, flip it over, cut it that way, and it looks better. Why? I don't know why we're not like they're not just constantly putting that stuff on everything right now just to sell more. Hey, thank you. Chuya Knife. Yes. Brian Doyle says Chuya Knife NV3 has some really dope carbon fiber. So they have two different colors on the NV3, which I have the NV1 and the NV2. The NV3 is a liner lock version, which is the same exact knife as the NV2, except for it's a liner lock version with cross cut or side cut carbon fiber, two different colors. Yes, that's very cool. And that's like what I'm talking about, like that side cut stuff. Whew, I love it. The fat carbon's really cool because there's colors in it, which I think is badass. The new Civivi Imperium has cool carbon fiber shred. Yeah, I've been looking at this stuff. It's got like the copper shred in there. That looks really cool. It looks a little slick. But I haven't tried it, but I definitely want to. That looks like a good tool, like just a good user EDC knife slash work knife. It looks like it could be one or the other. And that carbon fiber that they're doing on that to me looks really cool. Now that to me is a little bit, I'm not gonna say a little much, but it looks a little glossy. And I don't mean like it just like just the look of it is glossy, but it is. It looks really glossy, but I just mean like it looks like I don't know, like kind of like putting gold on something, like I don't mean like the actual stuff. I just mean like it looks it's more of a like a budget knife, right? But when you're putting a high-end materials on a budget knife, sometimes that stands out. And I think it's trying to floss a little too much, and I can see it a mile away. And sometimes I like that, sometimes I don't. And in that case, I'm not a big fan of that stuff. I think it's cool. I do like it. I even thought about buying some just so I have some so I can do a video on it, just so I can show it off and, say what I like or don't like about it. But it's not something I would want on everything. Like I would want it on one or two knives. It's not something like my Carta where I want it on a lot of knives. It's not something like titanium where I want it on a lot of knives. It's something where I can handle it on a knife or two, but that's it. I have the Wee Kite Fin with shred carbon fiber, and it's slick. Yeah, I think they did the same thing. I have the titanium version, and I love it. That's a good knife. I think it's this one. No, wrong one. So Telex says, how about the Python micarta on his buoy, his hinder buoy? Let's check it out. So this is what he's talking about. See if we can get it to come up. So I think it's cool. Honestly, I thought this was G10. But it's micarta. I don't know. I think it's cool. Like it's kind of like the other thing. I think it's cool, like on this knife, but I wouldn't want it on everything. You know what I mean? Like it has a unique pattern, which I think looks cool. And I think with the right colors, like you have with the black and bronze, this all works. It works. It's put together really nice. So in that case, yeah. But it's not like say like this micarta where it works on a lot of different things, or like other green micarta and stuff. Man, this thing is sweet. So I didn't know. I guess he's got some skiff bearings, or I think it was skiff. You said skiff bearings are in this, right? Or was it Gilliam's? I think you said skiff. Loving the Python scales, Chris Wolf says. Yeah, I think it looks badass on this knife, especially because of these brass accents with the black and the black stonewash. But man, this damn grind is where it's at, man. It is so sweet. It's so thin. deep hollow grind on a hinder. This is how hinder should be made, guys, right here. This is exactly how a hinder should be made. It's still strong. It's still tough. And it's 20 CV. So with a right heat treat, it should be plenty strong, plenty tough. And this way, it just cuts better. Whoa, we got a thank you, mostly folders. Does carbon fiber elite feel the same as FRN to you? No, I don't think carbon fiber feels like FRN. I think FRN feels like plastic. That's why I don't like it. I think G10 feels like plastic too, but it feels like more of an indestructible plastic. Don't get me wrong. I understand that G10 or sorry, FRN is very strong. It's very durable. I understand it. And it's extremely lightweight. Extremely lightweight. But is the carbon fiber elite? I don't maybe I'm mistaken. What is carbon fiber elite? Is that fake carbon fiber? I don't know. I can't think of what carbon fiber elite is. But if it's that fake carbon fiber, then it's just like G10 to me. But yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the fake carbon fiber. I think it's just a sticker over G10. Just make it G10 or carbon fiber, one of the two. But with FRN, I just think it feels cheap. It cheapens a knife to me. Like if I go to Walmart and bought a knife for somebody, I would expect it to be on there. But a knife that I'm buying for my collection or something, or as a tool, as a good tool, I don't want FRN. I expect the knife companies to do better. You know, like I said, Civivi, they should get a fine just for having that in their warehouse. They shouldn't have possession of FRN. They just shouldn't. You are right. Mike Emler makes some hard use fixed blades in 20 CV, and he swears by the durability. He said it's all about the heat treat. Absolutely, it is. And with all steel, that's what it's about. But with these super steels, think about what we're talking about right now. We're talking about super steels. With a super steel, that's the point. The point is to get high level performance out of your steel. So in that case, with the right heat treat, with it well done, it should be able to be ground for performance. Now, I'm not saying grind everything into an open L. Obviously not. I'm talking about the geometry of which, if you are going to have 150 thousandths blade stack thickness, you should have no problems getting down to 15 thousandths behind the edge and it being plenty hard use. Now, if you're going to use it as a fucking axe, then yeah, you might want 20 thousandths, right? But then the taper from the spine to the edge it shouldn't be rapid, you know? And if you're not going to have very tall knife, then it should be a hollow grind. It should have no issue being 20 thousandths and having a hollow grind. That way, it's still plenty thick, plenty strong, very durable. Uh, but to make a knife 180 thousandths and then have 30 thousandths behind the edge, or even 150 thousandths and 25 thousandths behind the edge, and it's a flat grind, all that means is that the day you get it is going to be the best time it ever cuts. It's literally going to cut the best the first day you get it. The reason why is because every time you sharpen it, it's going to get thicker. Yes, you can lay the edge back. So I guess I'm lying there because if you lay the edge back, then yeah, it's going to cut better, right? But it's also going to get thicker. So if you chip it, you're fucked. You know, and I know the thicker it is, the less likely you have a chance of chipping it. But I don't know. It's just there's a lot of knives out there that are built for hard use. There's plenty of them. But I feel like there's too many in the category that it leans towards the section of it's not quite a great slicer. It's almost hard use. You know what I mean? Like where it's like it should have been, right? It should have been thinner or it should have better geometry. Now there's also the knives that just don't make sense. You know, they have a very weak lock with 180 thousandths blade stock thickness at 30 thousandths behind the edge, and the fucking thing couldn't handle a spine whack to save its life. And you need to spine whack it just to cut through something. That's a joke, obviously. I'm exaggerating, but yeah, I have the Benchmade Carbon Fiber Elite and it does feel cheap to me. Actually, don't even use it. Man, maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about these days. I don't know what carbon fiber elite is. What's carbon fiber elite? Is it called the Benchmade carbon fiber elite, or is it just carbon fiber elite? Now you guys got me fucked up looking for stuff. Carbon fiber elite. Oh, it comes in a bug out. Okay, so let me put the bug out because it looked like that's what it was trying to get me to. Bug out scales. Oh, I don't. Is that even real carbon fiber? I don't know if it's. It looks like it's that fake stuff. I don't know if it is or not, but I don't know. I haven't had it, so that's what I'm talking about. I mean, at a certain point, use a fixed blade. You know, right? Like the kukri, use a fixed blade. And if you're needing a hard use knife, there's plenty of them. There's plenty of knives that do hard use. Plenty. And my I think we think that we need more than we do. I think there's a level of which we think like I've showed so many times. My pry bars that I use for construction are thinner than some of the fucking grinds that I have in a knife. That's crazy, right? I literally pry 2x4s with fucking pry bars that are thinner than some blade stock thicknesses. So, do we really need it that thick? I mean, I know it's heat treated for that. I get that. I understand that. I understand it's not heat treated to the level of which it'll be chippy or, it's made for that type of performance. But knives, especially with super steels, can handle being thinned out. And obviously, if you're, a knife like say this PM2, right? Yes, it's very thin behind the edge. It's 8 thousandths behind the edge. So this thing, it can break its tip very easily. Absolutely. You drop this thing, it will chip the edge if it hits a rock. So there's a level of which this is going to be a performance driven knife. Not all the knives out there should be made like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, like even like this Tucson, this is great. This is fantastic. I don't even know. It's probably, I mean, it feels very thin. It's probably like 10 thousandths, 12 thousandths, maybe 15. I'll measure it real quick just to be positive so I'm not bullshitting. That's what she said. Damn it, man. I was so close. Let me make sure, double check. Okay, in this one spot, this one specific spot, I haven't checked all the way down the grind. It is 14 thousandths. 13 to 14 thousandths in one specific area. Now, if I move it up and down, it could get thinner or thicker, but that's amazing. Now, like I said, 15 thousandths is a great thickness in my opinion. I think you can make a hard use knife out of 15 thousandths with the right geometry. 20 thousandths at max. I don't think an edge should ever be over 20 thousandths. And in most cases, when it is 20 thousandths, I think a hollow grind makes sense. Now, there are going to be some exceptions, right? There's going to be some exceptions, or like this big beast, right? This is going to make sense to be thick, and this has a hollow grind, mind you. This has a hollow grind, and I think this is around 20 thousandths behind the edge. So, like, think about it. Think about how hard use this damn knife is, and this is 20 thousandths with a hollow grind. So, this knife, I think was 20. I don't remember. I don't want to lie. I think it was 20 or 22 thousandths behind the edge. Doesn't have a hollow grind, but I did see Demco did grind some with a hollow grind, and to me that looks amazing. But this thing cuts pretty decent considering it has 187 thousandths blade stock thickness and has the lock to support it. It makes sense. It makes fucking sense. Have you ever heard of the company D's. D's nuts. Is that the joke? Was I supposed to say D's who? D's nuts. This guy is real thin. Not quite behind the edge, but it has a thin grind or thin blade stock. Measure the Bowie. Let's see what the Bowie is. Oh, wrong one. Let's see. So, who'd you say reground this knife? BMG. Name the name of who, so I can put it up on the screen while I'm measuring this, so I can shout them out. This is a hollow grind, guys. A hollow grind on a Medford, or sorry, a Hinder XM18, and this is at just one single point. Damn, that's thin. Let me double check because man, it's saying 13 thousandths, but I just want to be positive. Sure, right. 0. I'm checking right now. I'm checking right here in front of the finger choil. Yeah, it looks pretty consistent too. It's about 13 thousandths behind the edge. Fantastic. Fucking fantastic. That's great. Now the tip does get thicker though. So they didn't because there's going to be a level of which having that thinness all the way up to the tip isn't going to be good, because a tip at 15 thousandths is plenty thin to do acute cuts, but also going less than that, it can be fragile. Like that Koenig Mini Goblin, it's sharpening it. I'm so nervous to skip off my stone. Like when you're sharpening, if you're sharpening your knife and you go like this and get to the tip and you're trying to do the tip and you skip off the stone, you have a chance of chipping that tip. It's so thin and so small, or so acute. Now the grind actually gets thicker at the tip. So the thickness at the tip is probably more like 17 thousandths, 18 thousandths, maybe even 20 thousandths. I'm not sure, but that's awesome. That makes it to where you're going to have a durable tip that's still acute. It's still acute. It's still perfect for utility cuts, but you have the cutting performance of something that's going to give you, a good level of performance. Now, the fact that it does get thicker and thicker and thicker. So right here, it's thicker than right here. Right here's the thinnest area. So right here's thicker than back here. So if you were going to do light prying with it, you would do it in that section and it should be just fine. Light prying. Like I do this light prying work, and I have to do it quite often. Not a lot, but there's been times where I've had to do it 200 times in a row, where we have these bottles, right? The bottles, something happens. Like we've had it where a company sent them and we had to redo their stuff, but basically the seal was like broke or something, or maybe it had like a spillage or something like that. Point is that it basically gets glued on the sugar and the mixture of the liquor or whatever basically glues the cork on. So now the only way to get it off is to slip an edge in between the cork and the bottle like this, slip it in there and then pry it up. And you'd be surprised how fucking strong some of those can be. So there's been times where like I thought like, man, I don't know if I should use my really thin edge on this. Like I don't want to chip it because it's glass and a cork. So one side is so hard it can chip your edge. The other side's not. So you try to make it to where you pry up the, on the cork. But anyways, but it can't be thick. If it's thick, it's too. Think of a pry bar. Pry bar has to have a thin point to get into something. So, but trying to use something really thick, you're not going to slip it in. I know that sounds nasty, but it's going to be tough to slip in. It's going to be more. I guess you're going to have to kind of hammer it in if it's too thick. But in that case, you just do what you got to do and make it work. I'm going to call it a night, guys. Thanks for the live, Jared. All right, bud. Peace out. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I'm about out of here too. It has been a while. I was going to tell a story. Yep, we're going to tell a story right now. So this one, which story was I going to tell? Okay, so let me take a couple of hits. This story was when I was a kid. I had just moved south of Chicago, and didn't know the area. Didn't know the area. Had just moved there. Made some friends. And I guess you could say I made friends with the bad kids, in the area. And we were out running the streets. And we're on a bike. Do you guys remember? I don't know if you guys did this, but we did. Riding handlebar, where you rode on your bike and your buddy rode on the handlebars. We rode everywhere like that. That's how we rode. There was pegs sometimes, but if you didn't have pegs, you rode handlebar. And that's how you are there any good kids on the south side? This wasn't the south side. It's actually south of Chicago. So it's farther past south side. But no, I'm sure there is, but no, not really. The south side's a fucking war zone. If you've ever been to the south side of Chicago is fucking brutal. And I used to hang out in the south side when I was younger with some friends. And let me tell you, there was never a safe or good night. It's fucking dangerous there. It's the things you hear on the news will never do justice of what it's actually like. You literally feel like you're in a third world country when you're in the south side of Chicago, especially in certain areas. Certain areas of south side of Chicago, it's fucking dangerous. Like it's the neighborhoods I'm from make that fucking place look. It makes my neighborhoods that I've lived in look like a fucking a resort. I mean, it's fucking bad. Anyways, I can tell you some stories about fucking hanging out on the south side. And none of them are nice. Anyway, but this is farther than that. It's just south of Chicago. And so we were out one night and riding our bikes and shit. And we didn't do anything wrong. We really didn't do anything wrong. I promise you. So we pulled up to a gas station. Now let me just be clear, because I want you to understand that I was planning on doing something wrong, but I didn't. So when I pulled up, got some homies in Inglewood. Yeah, Inglewood's definitely a project. When we were riding around, and we used to stop at gas stations, snag shit, whatever, pay for shit, whatever we did, riding around from place to place. You're everywhere on your bike when you're a kid. And when we pulled up to this gas station, we were planning on going in and possibly ganking some shit. Maybe not. I don't know. When we rode up, the back door of the gas station was open, and there was like a carton, I guess you could say. It was like a pallet with like a bunch of cartons of soda on it. I didn't steal anything. All right. I just pulled up and put the bike down, planning on walking into the gas station. As soon as I pulled up, there, like the stuff is right there, right? The back door's open, there's stuff right there. I seen the stuff and I planned on grabbing some shit on my way out, but I didn't. This fucking guy comes out and grabs me by the arm and accuses me of stealing something when I hadn't. I hadn't at all. I just set down the bicycle. He accuses me of trying to steal his shit. Maybe it looked bad because of where I parked the bike, but it's just kind of common sense. You don't park your bike. I mean, you can park it in front of the gas station, but it made sense to park it on the side. Anyway, so he grabs me up. My one buddy, he ain't stupid. And rest in peace to this buddy. He wound up dying not that long later, but he, man, he was gangster as fuck. This kid was like I think we're like 13, 14, 15. And he at this time I was like 13, but man, people listen to him. Like he had a lot of power in that neighborhood or that town. And I know that doesn't make sense to people, but that's how like, anyways, doesn't matter. So he winds up not quite taking off, but like taking off to a distance enough to where he ain't getting snagged up and I get snagged up. He pulls me into the gas station and he's talking mad shit. Oh, I used to be a cop. I caught you, you little fucker. Oh, you're going down. He's like talking all kinds of shit. And I didn't even do nothing, but he's already convincing me that fucking because he's like, I used to be a cop. Obviously, they're gonna believe him. They're not gonna believe me that I didn't do anything. They're gonna believe him. And so I'm like, man, I'm fucked. I'm fucked. They're gonna get me for stealing something when I didn't even do nothing. And he's talking all this shit. So he sits me down in a stool, right, in the gas station, and he gets on the phone. He's talking to the police, right? Well, while he's on the phone with the police, he's talking to him or whatever. I see my buddy outside. Uh, shout out to Pork Chop. Rest in peace. He's outside and he keeps driving by on his bike. And he goes like this to me, like, come on, you know. And I'm looking at the door, looking at dude, looking at door, looking at dude. And I'm listening to him describe me to these fucking cops. And I fucking jumped up. And you want to talk about adrenaline? I had so much adrenaline before I jumped up that when I jumped up, I hit the door so hard it shattered. Bam! I fucking flew through the door. Well, it didn't shatter on impact. It shattered when it swung open and hit the building, or whatever. Fucking shattered. And I think I screamed some dumbass shit to my buddy, like "Run, pork chop," And I fucking when I turned the corner, mind you, we're riding handlebars. Remember I said that? So one person, so we only had one bike. We didn't have two bikes. We had one riding handlebars. If you guys don't know what that means, one person's driving, another person's sitting on the handlebars. Anyways, so when I got out and I busted the door, I ran around the building. There's like a 6-foot fence. So it's like a fence and then the gas station in front of the fence. So as soon as I seen that, remember, I don't know the area. I don't know the area at all. I've only been here like a week or two living in the area. I hit that fence so fast, man. The only time ever that I've ever jumped fences that fast was running from cops. And I jumped that fence like nothing. Like it was like my job. And when I hit the ground, I was running because when you're running from shit like that, you feel like you're being chased. There ain't nobody chasing me. That guy didn't fucking chase me. The guy was probably still on the phone. Like, yep, he's running. I don't know. But I feel like I'm being chased. So I'm running so fast that I can't even stand up. I'm running so fast. I'm like brr, bam, brr, bam. Every time I start running, I hit the fucking ground. Jump back up, start running, I hit the fucking ground because I'm in the woods. Oh, I forgot to say that part. When I jump the fence, I'm in the woods. I can't see nothing. So every time I'm running, I'm tripping on everything. But I'm hitting the ground so fast and my feet are still moving that I'm up just as fast as I'm falling. So it's just like brr, bam, brr, bam, brr, bam. And I keep running. Well, I lost my friend. I don't know where the fuck I'm at. I ain't got a clue in the world where I'm at. I mean, I know the town I'm in, but I don't know the town. I don't know it at all. Um, and everywhere I went was with him. He knew the area, not me. So I get out of the woods, right? Probably pretty fast too. I was running so damn fast. I got to a field. By this time, the cops have already came. So now they're looking for me and they're circling everywhere. Well, I get to this point to where I get to this field, a wide open field. I see the cop. He parks there because he knows in order for me to get away from that area, knowing where I ran, because I'm sure you got the description. Yeah, he ran around, jumped the fence, blah, blah, blah. He knew I had to get across that field. So they parked there waiting for me. I laid down in the field and army crawled across. When I say a field, I'm talking about a big fucking field. I'm talking about like an hour of fucking army crawling. I felt like I was like in Vietnam or some shit. So I'm fucking crawling through, whatever the fuck's out there. Probably coyote shit. But yeah, so and they didn't see me. They did not see me. Um, you know, fucking I'm young, little, and the grass is probably however tall, but they couldn't see me because it was dark, really. Hey, thanks for the super sticker. Thanks, Benjamin. So thank you very much, man. Fist bump to you. So I get across the field and I don't know at all where I'm at. It took me probably 6 hours to find something, maybe not quite 6 hours, maybe like 4 hours to find something that resembled what I knew, right? Because if I got in the vicinity of my house, I could get myself home, but I had to get into like an area that I understood and knew. It took me about 4 hours to do that. And I'm talking about walking everywhere, just seeing repeats. And I'm also worried about the cops. So I'm trying to be as incognito as possible. Finally, I walk through the door. My mom, she's fucking pissed, right? She's pissed. I don't even know what time, like 3, 4 in the morning or something. And she's like, "Where the hell have you been?" I'm like, I just started yelling back, like, "Damn it, I had to run from the cops and all this other shit." And she was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart." But no, my mom's a G. She always looked out for me and stuck out for me. So it was all good telling my mom that stuff when I was growing up. But yeah, I made it out alive. Hey guys, just wanted to stop by and say hey and love y'all. Love you too, Lindy. We're actually about to take off, but that is the end of the story, guys. I love you guys. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for the donations. Shout out to Lindy Lou. Definitely check out Knife Modders on Instagram, Lindy Lou and Richie B. And peace out, guys.